The night was dark and stormy. As I arrived at my grandparents' old cabin in the woods, I had decided to spend the weekend there, hoping to reconnect with nature and escape the stresses of city life. The cabin had always been a place of comfort for me as a child, but it had been years since my last visit. After my grandparents passed away, the cabin was left abandoned and neglected. Its once vibrant life now faded. I arrived in the late afternoon, after a long drive followed by a short hike. The cabin appeared weathered and worn, yet it still retained a sense of warmth and coziness that drew me in. As I unlocked the door and stepped inside, a wave of nostalgia washed over me. Exploring the cabin, I found familiar objects that stirred old memories. The fireplace where we roasted marshmallows. The rocking chair where my grandma read me stories. And the kitchen where my grandpa would prepare our meals. It felt like stepping back in time, with every corner of the cabin whispering tales of my childhood. I felt a warm and fuzzy feeling in my chest, as if my grandparents were still there with me. I decided to make myself comfortable and spend the night in the cabin. I lit a fire in the fireplace, cooked some dinner, and read a book. I felt relaxed and peaceful, enjoying the silence and solitude. I decided to go to bed early, since I was tired from the hike. I chose the bedroom that used to be my grandparents', feeling a bit guilty for invading their privacy, but also curious to see how it looked. I opened the door and saw a simple but cozy room, with a large bed, a dresser, a closet, and a window. I noticed a framed photo on the nightstand, showing my grandparents smiling and holding hands. They looked so happy and in love. I felt a pang of sadness, wishing they were still alive. I put the photo back and got into bed, pulling the covers over me. I closed my eyes and tried to fall asleep, but I couldn't. I felt restless and uneasy, as if something was wrong. I tossed and turned, trying to find a comfortable position, but I couldn't. I felt a strange presence in the room, as if someone was watching me. I opened my eyes and looked around, but I saw nothing. I thought it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But then I heard my name being whispered in my ear. I froze, terrified. The whisper grew louder, more insistent. It sounded like a woman's voice, but not my grandma's. It sounded angry and menacing, as if it hated me. "Who are you?" I whispered, trying to sound brave, but failing. "You don't belong here," the voice hissed. "This is my cabin, my husband, my life. You stole everything from me. You ruined everything. You have to pay." I felt a chill run down my spine as I realized who the voice could belong to. It was my grandpa's first wife, the one who had died in a car accident before he met my grandma, the one who had been buried in the woods near the cabin, the one who had never left. I had only heard stories about her, but I was almost sure that it was her. I felt a surge of panic as I realized I was in danger. I tried to get out of bed, but I couldn't. Suddenly, the room went ice cold, and I felt a heavy weight on my chest. I couldn't breathe. I tried to scream, but my voice was stuck in my throat. I felt a pair of cold, bony hands wrap around my neck, squeezing hard. I felt the life draining out of me. as I saw a pair of hateful, glowing eyes staring into mine. Just as suddenly, everything stopped. The presence vanished, and I could breathe again. I gasped for air, coughing and choking. I heard the commanding, robust voice of an elderly man, urgently telling me, "Run." I felt a rush of adrenaline as I jumped out of bed and ran out of the room. I grabbed my keys and my phone and ran out of the cabin. I didn't bother to lock the door or to pack my things. I just wanted to get away from that place as fast as I could. I ran to my car, which was parked a few meters away from the cabin. I got in and started the engine, hoping it would work. It did, and I drove away, not looking back. I drove until I reached the nearest town, where I checked into a motel. I called my parents and told them what had happened, begging them to believe me. They did, and they told me to stay calm and wait for them. They said they would.